Okay, hello everyone. I'm Roy McCann. I'm a professor with the Department of Electrical Engineering at the University of Arkansas. And today I will address a lot of questions that people have regarding the extreme weather that we've been having and the impact that it has on electric power service and delivery. Okay, in many parts of the country, the electric utility providers have had to go to a process of rolling blackouts. And I'd like to answer the question, why does that happen? Why do we need to have these rolling blackouts, which can be very disruptive for our households and businesses? Okay, the fundamental relationship is that electricity demand, or the load, must always exactly match the generation. And in order for that to happen, then we must always be able to adjust either the generation or the load to make sure that they are equal to each other, and therefore we have a nice, stable, and reliable electric power delivery and service. Okay, during extreme weather conditions, we may not be able to maintain that equilibrium where load is exactly in balance with generation. Okay, so as a quick example of why it's difficult during winter times is that, for example, in the summertime, it may be 100 degrees outside, and we may set our air conditioning to 75 degrees on the inside, and that represents a 25-degree change, in this case, making it cooler inside. If we think about for the winter time, if we're using electricity for our heating, then when it's 0 degrees outside and we want to maintain 65 degrees inside, then that's a 65-degree change. That means that we have over twice the amount of energy that's needed in order to maintain our inside temperatures during the wintertime conditions. Okay, so that means that we need more energy. And where does that energy comes from? It comes from the generation. And so during extreme cold temperatures, that puts a lot of stress on the electric power system to produce enough generation. Okay, so how can we balance the power? Well, we really only have two options. We can either increase the amount of generation, but what we've seen when there's extreme cold temperatures is that some of the equipment may not be able to operate. In the case of wind turbines, there's been reports where some of the wind turbines were not able to continue to operate at very low sub-zero temperatures. In addition, after the snow came through for the cold front, thereafter, the winds died down and it reduced the amount of available wind generation. Okay, to make up that difference, then there's other sources of generation that can be brought online. A lot of that is natural gas powered. The disadvantage there is that a lot of the natural gas is now needed for home and business heating, and it makes less of it available for generators. Okay, so if we only are able to recover some of the generation, then the only other alternative that we have is to reduce load. Okay, so what we want to do then is, if we have to maintain the balance and we're not able to produce more generation, then to reduce the load, we want to do that in a controlled manner that minimizes the impact on all of the people who need it for maintaining their homes and businesses. So in a controlled environment, that means that we minimize the number of people who momentarily need to have their power interrupted, and we try to keep that to a time interval of roughly 15 to 45 minutes. And that's based upon the principle that for most households and businesses, during a time of less than 1 hour, then as the temperatures drift downward, then it may not be too inconvenient or minimize the hazards to people's health and well-being. To do that, we typically would need to remove power from about 10% of the loads, maybe 15%. After that time period, the power would be restored, and then another group of people or users would have their power momentarily disconnected. So how can we avoid large-scale blackouts that takes days to recover? Well, it really helps if everyone can reduce their usage during extreme temperature conditions. In the wintertime, as we've seen, sub-zero temperatures are very difficult, but later in the upcoming summer, there'll be a similar situation again if temperatures rise above 100 degrees. Thank you, and I hope you found this helpful, and please contact me if you have any further questions. Thank you.